There is a wall. Every man and woman of ambition has met it. It appears in the dead of night, in the silence after a failure, in the moment you realize the distance between the life you live and the life you dream of living. It is a great obstacle. To most, this wall is a signal to turn back. It is the edge of their known world. It is proof that their dream was, after all, just a fantasy. They will tell you to be realistic. They will tell you to be practical. They will tell you to accept your limitations. And so, the vast majority of humanity lives and dies in the shadow of this wall, never knowing the world that exists just beyond it. But there is a truth known to the few, a truth known to the builders, the creators, the titans of history. The wall is not real. The obstacle is not made of stone. It is not a circumstance. It is not your boss, your bank account, or your background. The obstacle is a thought. It is a shadow cast by a single, unchallenged belief. It is a ghost that has power only because you have given it permission to haunt you. And like any shadow, it cannot survive the introduction of light. This is the mindset that breaks all obstacles. It is not a gift. It is not magic. It is a forging. It is a deliberate, conscious, and relentless act of will. It is the decision to become the master of your internal world, so that the external world must obey. It begins with a single, terrifying, and liberating realization. Nothing outside of you can stop you without your consent. The world you see is a mirror. It is reflecting the state of your own mind. If you see obstacles, it is because your mind is cultivating them. If you see limitation, it is because your mind is defined by it. The average mind is a battlefield, captured by the armies of doubt, fear, and indecision. It reacts to the winds of circumstance. It is swayed by the opinions of the crowd. It is broken by the first sign of defeat. But the master mind, the mind that shatters walls, is not a battlefield. It is a fortress. It is a kingdom under the command of one ruler, a definite chief aim. This is the first law. You cannot break an obstacle if you do not know why you are moving. The man who drifts has no destination. To him, every wind is a storm. Every rock is an impassable reef. He is a victim of chance. But the man who knows where he is going, the man whose purpose is burned into his soul, he is not a drifter. He is a captain. He sees the storm not as a disaster, but as a test of his sails. He sees the reef not as a barrier, but as a signal to adjust his course. The world has a habit, as Napoleon Hill observed, of making room for the man whose words and actions show that he knows where he is going. Look at Carnegie. He did not hope to build a steel empire. He resolved to build one. That resolution was his North Star. It was the organizing principle of his entire life. When panic struck, when markets collapsed, when competitors conspired, his purpose was the one unbreakable thing in his reality. The obstacles were temporary. The purpose was permanent. Your purpose must become your obsession. It must be the first thing you think of in the morning and the last thing you see before you sleep. It must be the lens through which you see the entire world. Most people live in a fog of vague desires. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. I want to be successful. These are not purposes. They are wishes. They are mist, and mist cannot break stone. A wish is a passive hope. A purpose is an active declaration. You must be definite. Not I want more money, but I will acquire this specific amount by this specific date, by providing this specific service or product. The moment you become definite, you have fired the starting gun. You have given your mind its marching orders. The ambiguity is gone, and in its place, a target has appeared. And this is where the second element of the mindset is born. This purpose must be fueled. It must be fueled by a burning desire. This is the difference between a simple preference and a white-hot, consuming obsession. A preference will quit. A mild interest will get tired. A good idea will surrender to the first critic. A burning desire that is unconquerable. A burning desire is the spiritual force that knows no such word as impossible. It does not hear no. It does not understand defeat. It feeds on failure. It starves all avenues of retreat. When Thomas Edison resolved to create the electric light, it was not a casual project. It was a burning desire. He was met with an army of obstacles. He was told by the greatest experts of his day that it could not be done. He was met with 10,000 failures. But to Edison, they were not failures. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the language of a burning desire. The obstacle, the 10,000 failures, was not a wall. It was a process. It was the path. His desire was so absolute that it consumed the very concept of failure, turning it into mere feedback. Your desire must be this strong. It must be the fire that you protect from the winds of doubt. You must feed it daily. You must starve every thought that contradicts it. When your purpose is definite and your desire is burning, you have created the engine. Now, you must engage the mechanism that delivers its power. This is the pillar that holds the entire structure. It is faith, not hope, not wishing, faith. Faith, in the language of Hill, is not a mystical appeal to the heavens. It is a state of mind. It is a mental command. It is the absolute conviction that you already possess that which you are asking for. It is the ability to see the end result with such clarity in your imagination that it feels more real than the temporary reality of your problems. This is the mindset that breaks obstacles. It does not see the obstacle. It sees only the completion. When Henry Ford decided to build the V8 engine, he demanded his engineers cast it in a single block. They told him it was impossible. He said, "Produce it anyway." They returned and said, "It is impossible." He said, "Go back to work and stay on it until you succeed, however much time it may require." They went back, and they produced it. What was the obstacle? The laws of physics? The limits of engineering? No. The obstacle was the belief that it was impossible. Ford's faith was the wrecking ball. His mind was so certain of the outcome that it literally rearranged the material world to match his conviction. He did not hope for it. He knew it. This faith is not acquired by chance. It is cultivated. It is built, brick by brick, through the principle of autosuggestion. This is where the battle is truly won or lost. It is in the silent conversations you have with yourself. The obstacle-breaking mindset is ruthless in its control of this inner dialogue. It understands that the subconscious mind is a garden. It does not care what you plant, success or failure, fear or faith. It will simply grow whatever seed you give it. The average person allows seeds of doubt, fear, and criticism to be planted in their garden by every news report, every negative comment, every past failure, and they wonder why their life is a harvest of weeds. The master mind stands guard at the gate of its thoughts. It consciously plants the seeds of its definite purpose. It repeats its goal aloud, morning and night. It writes it down. It visualizes success with such emotional intensity that the subconscious mind must accept it as truth. When the thought of failure appears, it is not entertained. It is not fought. It is simply replaced. When the world says, "You can't," the inner voice says, "It is done." When the world says, "It's impossible," the inner voice says, "It is fact." When the obstacle appears, the inner voice says, "This too shall serve my purpose." This is not self-deception. It is self-creation. You are giving your mind a new set of instructions. You are rewriting the blueprint. You are commanding your reality to change. The obstacle of impossibility is a mental construct, and the tool that demolishes it is a faith so absolute that it becomes a physical force. You must believe in your purpose with the same certainty that you believe in the rising of the sun. But this faith, this desire, this purpose, they are nothing but steam. They are potent, powerful energy, but without a machine to channel them, they are just hot air. They must be channeled into action. And the mechanism of action, the iron will that translates vision into reality, is persistence. This is the great dividing line of humanity. It is the point where 99% of all dreams die. It is the rock upon which the majority of men break. They are brilliant in their planning. They are passionate in their desire. They are firm in their faith for a week. And then the real obstacle appears. Not the imaginary one, but the real one. The rejection, the empty bank account, the betrayal, the exhaustion, the sheer, grinding, relentless, unglamorous work. This is the test. And it is the only test that matters. The universe does not care about your intentions. It only responds to your persistence. The obstacle-breaking mindset welcomes this test. It understands that resistance is not a sign to quit. Resistance is the price of the prize. It is life's way of asking one question: how badly do you really want this? The weak-willed mind, the mind of the drifter, sees persistence as punishment. He believes success should be easy. When he meets resistance, he cries out, "Why is this happening to me?" The mastermind sees persistence as power. He knows success is hard. When he meets resistance, he says, "This is the moment others would quit. This is my advantage." Look at Lincoln. The man was a case study in persistence, failed in business, suffered a nervous breakdown, defeated for legislature, defeated for speaker, defeated for Congress, defeated for Senate, defeated for vice president. The world screamed failure at him for decades. The obstacles were not pebbles, they were mountains. But his purpose, his definite aim was stronger. His persistence was not a desperate gamble. It was a calm, cold certainty. He knew that each defeat was nothing but a lesson, a temporary setback, a forging of the very character he would need to lead a nation through its darkest hour. Failure was simply the raw material for his eventual, inevitable success. This persistence is not born of stubbornness. It is born of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between your definite purpose and its physical manifestation. It is the conscious, daily, and often boring work of aligning your habits with your goal. The obstacle-breaking mindset is a mindset of radical discipline. It understands that willpower is a finite resource. You cannot will yourself to succeed. You must build the habits of success. You do not wait for inspiration to strike. You command it to appear. You sit in the chair. You do the work, especially when you do not feel like it. This is the habit that breaks all resistance. The obstacle of "I don't feel like it" is the most common killer of dreams. The master mind does not negotiate with its feelings. It does not ask its lower self for permission to be great. It decides. This is the fifth and final element of the unbreakable mind, the power of decision. The one thing that paralyzes all human effort is indecision. The man who cannot make a firm decision is a ship without a rudder. He is at the mercy of every current. The man who hesitates, who waits for all the facts, who seeks the approval of the crowd, who fears making a mistake, he will be run over by the man who acts. The great obstacles of life are built from the bricks of small indecisions. I'll start tomorrow. I'll wait for the right time. I need to think about it more. These are the lies that build your prison. The obstacle-breaking mindset is decisive. Hill, in his study of over 500 of the world's most successful men, found one trait they all shared. They made decisions quickly, and they changed them slowly, if at all. The failures? They made decisions slowly, and they changed them quickly and often. A true decision is a command. It is the act of cutting off all other possibilities. The word decision comes from the Latin root cadere, to cut off. When you truly decide, you have burned the boats. There is no retreat. It is victory or death. This decisiveness is the sharpest blade. It cuts through the fog of what if. It slaughters the monster of procrastination. When you make a definite decision, you draw a line in the sand. You send a signal to your subconscious mind and to the universe itself that your purpose is now law. The obstacle of fear cannot survive a definite decision. Fear lives in the in-between. It thrives in maybe. It grows in someday. But the moment you commit, the moment you say, I will, and align your actions behind it, fear dissolves. The obstacle is not that you are afraid. Everyone is afraid. The obstacle is that you have allowed your fear to sit in the driver's seat. The decision is the act of taking the wheel. So, this is the mindset. It is not a single thought. It is a system of command. It is a definite purpose, burned into your consciousness. It is a burning desire, which makes that purpose an obsession. It is an unshakable faith, cultivated daily, that the end result is already a fact. It is a relentless persistence, which treats failure as fuel and resistance as a test of your resolve. And it is a swift and final decision, which cuts off all retreat and makes your purpose the only possible outcome. This is the mind that cannot be denied. This is the mind that built empires from dust. This is the mind that harnessed lightning. This is the mind that crossed oceans and split the atom. This is the mind that created the modern world from the raw, unformed chaos of imagination. The men and women who wielded it were not gods. They were not special. They were human. They were plagued by the same doubts, the same fears, the same temptations as everyone else. The only difference was their mindset. They did not allow their temporary conditions to define their permanent reality. They did not ask for permission. They did not wait for validation. They chose their thoughts. They understood that. Will you stand up right now and declare your purpose? Will you ignite the burning desire? Will you guard the gates of your mind and build the faith that your victory is not just possible, but inevitable? Will you do the work? Will you embrace the discipline? Will you get up one more time than you are knocked down? Will you decide? The wall is not in your way. The wall is the way. The obstacle is not a barrier. It is a forge. It is the universe's tool for shaping you into the person you must become to deserve the victory you seek. Every rejection is a lesson in persistence. Every failure is a lesson in adaptability. Every critic is a lesson in self-belief. Every hardship is a lesson in resilience. Do not curse the obstacle. Bless it. It is your greatest teacher. It is your most loyal sparring partner. It is the sculptor's chisel, chipping away every part of you that is weak, every part that is doubtful, every part that is not worthy of the dream. The obstacle is a gift. And the mind that understands this, the mind that sees opportunity in adversity, strength in struggle, and triumph in temporary defeat, that is the mind that cannot be broken. That is the mind that owns the world. It is not a matter of if the obstacles will come. They will. They are coming for you. They are the guardians of the life you want. The only question is, who will be there to meet them? A victim or a master? The choice is not made when the crisis hits. It is made now. It is made in the silence of this moment. It is the decision to become this mindset. To stop asking, to stop hoping, and to start commanding. Command your mind. Define your purpose. Set your soul on fire. Build your faith. And act. Act as if it were impossible to fail. And the obstacles, they will not just be broken. They will bow to you. They will part before you like the sea. because they will recognize in you the one force in the universe they cannot defeat. A mind that has, at last, made up its mind